Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to explain about building a simple login control. So we will build a login page and then sign up page and probably maybe forget password where we enter our OTP. But to do all this, we might need a API which is already running. But in this case, I'm going to just assume that you already have a backend API and you are just planning to build one UI for this part. Maybe in the future, if I'm making another video, I will also try to add how to make calls to the the API to process all these things. But let us start with a simple login page. To do that, I will open up my Chrome. Then I will start checking login page sample. Okay, there we go. Let us first find something looking nice that we need, then we can finalize. Okay, the first thing what I see here is we have some blurry background with a small curved border, like the rounded border and all those things. It looks fine. Okay, yeah, this one this is also pretty straightforward. Rectangular thing. With the left hand side you have plain data, right hand side you have some area to add your information or something. So okay, these two are looking nice. How about this? This is much like a transparent one. They also do have some kind of a background, but it is transparent. Okay, this looks much better for me. uh, okay, this is also nice. In my opinion, the core background is going to be let me go back here. Okay, what I will do is I will just choose this one. We have a blurry background and then we have another transparent shape where we enter the images. So it is this text items, then we save it. So login, and it also has remember me, forget password. Maybe we might need to add a sign up page, but that is totally fine. And what else? Okay, this concept is good, but if you look carefully, we also have some kind of back end which is like abstract shape. So I will just also search that abstract image backgrounds. You can choose anything you want. I will start with selecting some images and okay, this one. So I finalized on one image here. I don't know if this is big enough for us, but this looks fine for me. Polygon shapes. Okay, I think this both looks pretty okay to me. So I'll just save these two images. So in the project code behind, I'm sorry, in the project base directory, I have downloaded and added a couple of images. I'm not able to see why I'm not able to see that one, but like a couple of abstract images. Let's see if this preview pane works. For some reason, the preview is not working, but that's okay. The polygon images are here. Okay, now it shows up. So I have a couple of images which we will decide while going forward, and while we are building, we will finalize what we need. Okay, I will create a folder and bring those images here. A new folder, images, add existing items. The base project, I have this one. Go, 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 go. Okay, Just remember that if you're not going to use some images, just remove them from your project, because at the end when you are building your DLL or your project, those images will become a part of your login control or whatever you are that you're building. And then if it already has a lot of it is taking up a lot of space, like currently these four things may be around 1 MB or 2 MB, then finally it will add up to your executable file size. So just pay attention there. uh, we need to build this in the form of a control, not as a executable or a exe file. The reason is this login control, we will be using it in other places. When you are opening up a project, we just need to, if the user is authenticated or not, you will show up this, and user will enter. And if it's a failed password, you will again show the top. So it's basically once you confirm that he has properly authenticated, then you will be showing the main window. That is the whole idea behind this. So we will create a new project. Let's again, this is a .NET WPF project, and in the same login control, I will call it as main app sample, and you just call whatever you want. Okay, so this login control, I started it as a WPF.NET framework project because I wanted all the references. I don't want to go through adding them again, but once it is created, I will change the output type to class a library, so that it becomes a DLL, not as a .exe file. So now this exe.dll file I can reference into my main app. Let's see, login control. Okay, there we go. So let it be here, but first let us focus on building our login control. So we have the images here, and we'll straight away we'll go ahead and create a background, or like container, or like place where we are going to place everything. But before that, let's add two folders. Let's call it as controls, where we will keep our individual controls. First, let me begin with add a new user control, and let us call this user control as let's say how do we say, okay, login page. That looks that is reasonable. Come on, sign up page. And what about login is there, okay, and sign up is there, and forget password should also have a page, or maybe it's up to you to decide whatever other pages you want. I could or like, let's call it as, instead of forget password, I think you can call it as uh, login helper page. Okay, maybe not only about forgetting password, even if you forget username or whatever it is, you can help them with those things. So we have three basic empty controls, and we need to have a base container or a page where we will be rotating among these three. That is fine. And I will go here to my main sample. We already referenced it, right? So this one, let me delete this. Okay, this one, let it be. Let's just put some text box and say text block, and text is equal to text is equal to hi main application. Okay. So this one font family. Oh, sorry, I don't want a family. Font size is equal to 20. Okay, so what we have here is a small application which is going to be our main application. So before we show this main application to the user, we need to authenticate the user. Like, based upon the user authentication, we need to show this one again. This is going to be a very simple building up of the login page and how we will be reusing it, but you might want to add more validations, like whether he has the proper rights, is he, if he is an admin, you will be showing the features, and those kind of things will be your responsibility. But this is just going to show how to build the UI. So this is totally fine. This is our main application. Our goal is to show this application after the user authentication is complete. So let us go into this main app. So which means that I should not directly show my startup because I need to do authentication before showing this startup. Instead of URI, let's call the startup event. So on startup, we will have an event, and this event, if you see here, this is a partial class app, so it's not a static one. So private. Whatever I'm showing here is not, I repeat again, not the best approach. This is one of the approach for storing the data. So you need to come up with your own implementation. So I will put it in a singleton class. So how do I call it? Credential holder. Okay, this is going to be a singleton class. Public class credential holder. I already have a snippet for creating singleton classes. So HSC. Why not working? Okay, it's okay. So I've created a singleton class. Forget about the snippet. What I have done is I have created a static credential holder, and then I have one more static method, which is, if I'm going to use object data provider, I will be reusing it. I have one clear, and the most important thing is the constructor is private, so that users cannot create an instantiation of this one. So there could not be any other instance. There's always going to be one instance which will be singleton. So this is just a very small implementation. A constructor. Okay, there we go. I will put it as a prop bool is authenticated. So just to see whether the user is authenticated or not, and instead of public, I will put it as internal. So which means that only the internal, like people inside this main app, only will be able to access this and change the value. The external people cannot do that. I can even do the same here, internal class, so that other applications or someone else extending or using this reference will not be able to do that. But I'm not sure it will be a case, but that's okay. You can also add other properties to hold the authenticated user details, but let us keep it simple now. That's fine. It's a small credential holder. So first, what we do on application startup, we see if credential holder, right? Credential holder dot is authentic singleton. It's a singleton class is authenticated. If our application is authenticated, we show the main window. Maybe add other validations for feature control. That's up to you. If it is not, we need to authenticate again. But what will happen when you do this? Like you come here in the if block, you will be checking this, and then you will authenticate. Again, after you authenticate, you will get out of this one. So we should not do that. So let us put it inside a class. While inside a loop, while not authenticated, credential holder dot a singleton dot is authenticated. While it is not authenticated, until it gets authenticated, just loop again and again inside this. Okay, that's the concept. Now that makes more sense. So let me close this here. So each time when an authentication is trying to happen, we will just check and we will show the login page, and if the user fails, we will again and again show that to him. Okay, that is the first step. Okay, so when the credential holder is authenticated, the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to show variable main window is equal to new main window. Really? In main window dot show should I be show dialog or show? Okay, let it be show dialog at present. Okay, and there is one very important thing, that we need to understand about all these authentications and showing up the UI. This is something that I learned out of experience after failing several times. So, first, let me start with this so that you know what I'm talking about. Let's have one more main window here, right? I will delete this main window. This main window is from the login control. I'm deleting the main window from login control. Then I'm going to add one more. Where is this window? And this window, I'm going to call it as what do I say? Authentication window. Maybe that looks makes more sense. If you have assembly info, okay, we have assembly info. Whenever you see some main windows or something, you might come across something like this. In the beginning, when I was trying to learn, I see this schemas.microsoft.com 2006, and then I immediately think, okay, there is something present in this location. Let us go there and copy and paste. When it says that no, it's not there, nothing is there. So you might have come across this schemas something. And then when you are using the references in your local, we always do something like this. For instance, if I need to use this authentication window which is present in login control, the first thing that what I will do is here XAML namespace auth window, or maybe login control, let's call it as logc, and then you say login control, and you see there are two namespaces in login control. One is login control itself, another one is called login control dot control. So there are two spaces. So if you need to add that one, you will be doing something like this: XML namespace logc control is equal to login control. What if you have like more than 10 or 20 namespaces, and each time you want to add all these things? So that happens quite common. So I have also used several times. So there is one very small tweak. So if you have this properties assembly info, all you need to do is go there to the end, add information. So I will just copy it from my Haley references. Okay, I will copy and then I will explain. So what happens here is, if you see, XML namespace comes from a different Windows markup. Okay, you need Windows markup, and after the Windows markup is added, you go down, and what you are saying is, whenever someone gives this prefix, you don't even need this XML namespace prefix. You can even remove that. It's a when you say when someone says some prefix and use this schema, you expose them this namespace. So what I'm going to say, I will still stay with hpod9.com, which is a domain that I have registered but I have never used. Maybe you might feel me, you will also would have done the same. I will remove the Haley and I will call it as, okay, let it be Haley. Let's call it as what is this, login control, right? Let's go into login control, and another one is login control.controls. So login control is one namespace that I'm exposing if someone is calling the schema, and login control dot controls is another namespace that I'm exposing, and I can expose multiple namespaces under this one particular schema. So instead of now here, I can easily say XML namespace logc is equal to schemas. There is one more thing as well. I cannot use this schema because I'm already using my Haley, this schema for my Haley project. So let's say logc WPF. Let's keep it simple. I don't need to confuse with other ones. That doesn't mean that you cannot use it for two things. You can still do that, but I don't want to confuse at present. schemas.logc. Okay, now you have one single definition which will cover this HTTP schema, and this schema will then expose you to different namespaces. So in this way you don't have to add all the assemblies and everything. That's fine. What do we do next? Here, main window, and here anyhow, but here you cannot use the schemas, you need to use them yourself. Login control, and using login control dot controls. Okay, first and foremost thing I'm going to show variable auth window is equal to new authentication window. Now I'm going to show three things, or maybe more than that. I just started with three. First, I'm putting my authentication window outside. Auth window dot show dialog. This will fail. So the moment it returns, it will fail. Let's see. When you close this, I just want to show you that it fails. Yeah, before come on, before even we started, there is a failure. Enter solution. Project contains a value that is not valid. Library cannot specify. Okay, that's fine. When you change your application to class library, you cannot have app.xaml. That is not allowed. Need to delete it. That's foremost thing. Yeah, that's a good thing that it failed, because I wanted to add one small text here and call it as text block. I'll copy it from here. Copy and say hi, I am auth application. Okay, let's try to see how it fails. So application starts, and we reach again. So it's still the startup project is login control. Right click, set startup project here, and run. There we go. So what we have here is we have an auth window, and then we have authentication is obviously first. We are not doing anything else. We are now going to show it up. So authentication is here. So we are going to add some kind of validations here, which via which when we authenticate, we will be changing the value in the is authenticated. Let's say that it is not authenticated. You close it or you stop it. You do something. Okay, you do something. Let's say I'm closing it. Ta-da! We again come here, but at this point auth window which was created in the previous line is already shown, and remember we closed it, which means that the window is already disposed. So if you try to show the window which is already disposed again, it will throw you exception. So because this window is obviously you have already closed or exposed it. Now the first thing that will come to your mind is, okay, it is closed, so it is very straightforward, we can directly add it here, because that's logical thinking. Let us see how this one fails. Ta-da! So we have this one, and then we close it, and now the window which was created before got disposed. Yes, that's true. And now the logical way would be like you expect it to be created again, and then you try. It's not even going there. Let's go to the output and see if it's throwing any kind of exception. Oops. Each time it tries to reach here, it closes. The thread gets exited. It's not even able to process it. So the reason why it happens is the whole WPF, the concept of WPF, it relies upon something called Application.Current.MainWindow. So this main window is not this main window. Okay, the one which says here is basically a window which they are calling it as main window. This is not the main window that you have created here, so don't confuse that. When we speak about WPF, it always expects one window which is expected to be your base window, or like it is kind of like your UI context. So you have one UI thread or a UI context which remains as your main thread or something like that. If that main window gets closed, it will never ever open any other window. So that's the base. Maybe it is the underlying, or like I don't know why they came up with this one. Let's see, variable MW is equal to Application.Current.MainWindow. Let's try to see what happens now. Okay, at present main window is null. I think where is this locals is here. Okay, so this is my MW main window is null, and the moment whichever window that you create first, that becomes your main window. Either you can directly assign a value to your main window, or you create it. So at the moment I create this one, the MW is still wrong, but the reason is it's a variable which is extracting from there. But if I try to copy this one and put it in the watch, I will see that it has now changed. You see, the application, the reason is the variable here MW, which we tried to get before this line, is still null. Because maybe it is, if you revalidate it again, you will see this. But application current main window is now authentication window, and you are showing up the authentication window, and you don't want to do that, and you closed it. The moment you close it, your main window becomes null. When your main window becomes null, you will not be able to show another window. So like it will come here, it will do all these things. You will just start to wonder like why it's not showing up. It will come to show dialog, and then nothing will happen. It will be looping again and again, and the thread will get exited. So it's a very common mistake that we all do. I have spent several days wondering about this one. So the most common or easiest way to solve this is you create a dummy window and you don't do anything there, and you keep it. But there is also a problem in this one, but we will just focus on other things. So let us ensure that this is our main window, right? There are a couple of ways how we can resolve it. One is you need to do like variable dummy is equal to new main window, and you just leave it. But remember to dispose at end, or else what happens is when all the application gets closed, completed, it will still be open. You will still have the application open, because you have a main window which is not disposed. And there is one solution, but you need to take care of disposing it. But in our case it is going to be straightforward. So what I will do, I will just remove this, and we will say main window. So what I'm doing here is I'm having a new main window which I know I will be using here, and upon closing this, the whole application will be closed, so it will be automatically disposed. So this concept is okay for me, so I will use this one. It's up to you how you want to handle your project. Now that we have a main window, this application current main window, there will be this let's say confusing terms. So actual main window. Don't be confused by the names and terminologies. Just follow the process here. Okay, so now we have our authentication here, and then let me put a breakpoint at this point, and let us close this. But even if you close this now, you will again have this again and again and again until you get authenticated. The reason close, the reason the main window will never be null, because the main window is already your main window which you created at this line. So that's quite common. That's fine. That is done now, and we don't need this validation here, and you have the main window which will be showing again and again. That's fine. What else? I'm going to add something called private void container registration. Okay, so this show dialog should be giving me some kind of an authentication values which I will be using to set this authenticator, or I can even set the authentication from inside the application itself. That is totally up to me. So how do I do that? Okay. First thing first, I'm going to add obviously Nuget packages for the whole application, and then I will add Haley Nuget. The reason why I'm doing this, I need to ensure a fast processing of my MVVM setup, and also couple of UI sites. So I will use MVW latest one is 13. Okay. You can go with any library that you want. You can go with any MVVM control that you want. From this video, what I want you to take away, the takeaway from this video should be how the whole project or how the concept works. You don't have to rely upon one single library. It took some time to install. Maybe my internet is very slow, but finally it is getting added now. Okay, there we go, done. So this is added, and first and foremost thing that I wish to do is, where is it? It's added, but it's not showing up. It's adding. Okay. First and foremost thing, for my login control, I need to add some kind of since this is an user control, it will definitely not have app.xaml, so I cannot have a common what do you call a references or a library. So I will add dictionaries, and I will add a resource dictionary here. Add resource dictionary and call it as LCRD, login control resource dictionary, LCRD. And inside this one, I will resource dictionary dot merge dictionary. So before that, when you add the Haley, you will have the reference to this. So we are not using MVVM, we are directly using WPF. So let me copy this and put it inside my LCRD, and I will copy this, go into my authentication window. Remember, if you are going to use any kind of a resource dictionary from a main window, main application, you will directly add them to your app.xaml here, and which is application level resources which will be available everywhere. But when you're doing it from user control, you will not have access to app.xaml, which means that you need to add them every time in every control. That's what I'm going to do here. There is no workaround. Resource dictionary. Okay, so resource dictionary, the merge dictionaries, but instead of merging the Haley, the reason why I want another resource dictionary to act as a liaison is that tomorrow I might remove the Haley at all. Tomorrow I might add a few other dictionaries. So each time, let's say like tomorrow I'm going to add 10 more dictionaries, and I already have 20 controls. I don't need to go through each control and add the dictionaries again and again. So it should be like done at one place, and everywhere it should be updated. That's the reason why I have this LCRD. And I will, going forward, if I have any other references, I will add them here, so other controls will take it from there. So application, go inside your properties. Remember, this is your assembly name, not your namespace. Take the assembly name, put it here. So pack application assembly name, component folder name, dictionaries. Okay, and this is nomenclature that I follow, the project structure. Like I put my resources inside dictionaries. You can totally follow whatever you want. LCRD, that's okay. So now I know that I have this one. I need to add Haley WPF and Haley MVVM. Okay, what am I doing here? I'm trying to add some, for some basic um, UI supports. First thing first, let us just run at this point to see nothing is amiss. Okay, there are build errors. Let's go to whoa. It said there were build errors. And where are you trying to run? Unknown build error cannot resolve dependencies. Each dictionary must have associated key. No. Dictionary, why should it have a I have added my resource dictionary inside another resource dictionary. While the resource dictionary, I need to merge them. Resource dictionary itself doesn't need a key. Okay, that's why. Now let's try. Cannot resolve dependency, culture neutral, dependent login control. Okay, what is this one? Something new? Let's rebuild. Okay, so I was doing a little bit of research. By research, I means I went to Google and I searched this error to see why it happens. Looks like the problem comes with the Nuget packaging system itself. So when you are doing this Nuget packaging, it usually happens. Looks like from 2021 release 3 something, which is pretty quite some time back now. So what you need to do is right click, migrate to package references. I don't know why, but it was totally fine earlier, but now it expects you to change to package reference. So here is my research. Let's try to build again. When you are doing it in one place, why do you have to stick there? Let us move here as well. Colors. Now let us rebuild though. I'm going to do something else now. The thing is, we cannot just keep this application open for a long time and then the user does this again and again and again. So we are going to add some kind of count. Let's say max tries is equal to 5 probably, and that makes sense. Max tries is 5. Integer count or try count is equal to 0. So whenever you start your application, you just say try count plus plus. So you try without any count, and when you reach this point, add one count. Add one count. Okay, add one count. And when you go back again here to the loop and you come back here, it will now first it will be 0 and 1 2 3 4 5, and the moment if try count is greater than max tries, so then it should not even be here, like greater than, or else try greater than or equal to should be greater than or equal to. Not sure if that will work. Of course that doesn't work. Wait. Oh, let's see. If it is greater than or equal to, break. Or if you break, what happens is you will come back to this again credential and it is not authenticated and you will leave. So that makes sense. Okay. You can even add some kind of dialog box showing that no, we are not able to authenticate, we are closing the application. So to do that, I'm going to add dialog service, private dialog high dialog service ds. This dialog service is coming from Haley. An application startup is here, and before startup we have something public or like protected override on load completed, I believe, on startup. Okay, so basically on startup will come first and then application startup will come next. So let me first confirm that. So on startup comes first. You want to do some kind of loading the services, you do all those things, and after this your application startup comes. Okay, so I will use container service which is already there, container store dot singleton dot dependency injection dot resolve, and give me a dialog service if it is present as registered. Dialog service is usually registered as a singleton control, so that when you set some kind of accent color and everything, it remains the same. In case you want to resolve it transient, we can call resolve transient, so you will get a new instance, but that's up to you. So we have ds here, and at this point, if it is authenticated, show the dialog, or else ds dot show, or like warning, maybe it's a warning, or it's an error or warning. It's an error. Okay, unable to authenticate the use authenticate unable to authenticate, application will close now. Class. I'm not going to put any kind of checkpoint here. And okay, what if this is not working? So dot, why are you not working? There is no argument that corresponds to dialog mode is there. Title, you need a title. Authentication failure. Okay, is that sufficient enough for you now? Okay, I think that is sufficient for you. Okay, so it should try for 5 times, and each time after that it will just say that, hey, authentication unable to authenticate it, it is failed. So let's try 1, try 2, try 3, try 4, try 5. What happened? Nothing happened. So the dialog service was not resolved, or what? Let me try. Try here. Let's see. No, you should not do that. You should not do that. Here. So when you say on startup, it goes to this application startup. Very good. So you do this and then you do the startup. It's quite common to make mistakes. The only thing is you need to correct yourself. DS is now present, and it doesn't have an accent color, it doesn't have center owner and everything. And before that, I'm going to do something else. So this authentication is always showing up in different places. So let me put startup location as center owner. Owner. Okay, so now we have it here. Remove it up. That's fine. Okay, so it's always going to be in the same location. 2, 3. Okay, this is weird. It's okay. Okay, I understood why it like that. I will explain this shortly, but before that, we have the dialog service which will go up. Unable to authenticate, application will close now. Ta-da! Okay, so if you notice something, we are still in the debugging mode. Even though the application has closed, we have not done anything. The reason is, as I explained in the beginning, we have one new window which becomes as the main application, and because of that, it will still be there. Actual window that displays. let me, so before that, there is a reason, like, when you say center owner, there is no owner for the application at all, and that's the reason why it was opening up at different places, because as per the center owner, the owner will always be the main window, application.current.MainWindow. If you do not have that, of course, if you do not have that, your application becomes main window, and then it will be shown in the center of the screen. But in our case, we already have one main window, which we are setting it up as a main in application that current main window, but we are not using it yet. So since it is not displayed to the in the screen, it is not able to identify where to set it up. So that's the reason, center screen. So we will keep it simple this time. I know that I'm spending so much time on explaining the basics and setting it up, but it will be good to understand how these things work. So it is going to be in the center, 1 2 3 4 5. Now close, and application itself got closed because at the end you are closing the main window, which you created here, which was obviously your main window dot something, and then you are closing it. You can also do something like, if application.current.MainWindow is not null, you close it. Okay, that's fine. So that whatever the main window that you set up, it doesn't matter this actual main window, or maybe you set up something, you just, if it is not null, just close it. That's it. So for everything is fine. So after all these time, we are actually going to start with the actual implementation. First thing first, we'll start with my authentication window, and we already know that we are going to add some kind of a background, right? So before the background, I want to show something, which is a new feature that I have implemented in Haley. This is called as window blur AP. So this is not something new. Like, there are a lot of references, and people have written so many articles about it. So you enable the blur. So what happens when you enable the blur? You will get some kind of a blurry screen. So when you start with a blurry screen, you don't need let me make this as Haley plain window, and this one will again become plain window dot resources. That doesn't mean that you only have to use it in plain window. You can also use the window blur in any kind of window. I just don't want the control box to be shown. I don't want the headers to be shown. That's the reason I'm doing it. And this one will also derive from, and this is present in Haley.WPF not controls. So this will derive from plain window, or extend plain window. Inherit and implement, right? So it's not implementing, it's inheriting from plain window. So you will inherit a class, an abstract class, or a class, or an extend or inherit a class, and you will implement an interface. Anyhow, here we go with this one, and plain window is here, and I'm going to make sure my background is plain. So I don't want a background. Now I'm going to see whether I have got this transparency. Let's see. Ta-da. Oh. I have got my transparency, but when I click it, it goes behind. Of course, when you say it is transparent, that's what it will happen. So don't put the background as null, put it as transparent. Now I should see my plain little glass. And I'm still not able to do this. Why? I need to identify. Maybe transparency doesn't work. So I need to give some kind of a color. What color? Maybe I will go with something like blue color, maybe a little bit of blue here, and this one I will say 5% is fine for me. Let's try. Now it should not go behind. If it goes, there is some problem with my setup. Okay, it doesn't go. At least you saved me. Okay, now I have got my nice screen, and I don't need this too. What is this too? I don't need to minimize, I don't need to maximize. I should only have close button. We already have this one implemented. It's okay. Let us do one thing. Let us add it directly from here. I will keep it like this, and I will just minimize my application. I hope you are able to see my screen. I will just minimize and say, what is this control, right? Hide maximize button is true. Let me save. Okay, it doesn't work, so it's not a dependency property. So dependency properties will act immediately. This is not a dependency property, so which means that you need to close and open, but that's fine. Title is authentication window. Let me remove the title. I don't need the title at all. It immediately updated here. Let me show something. This region, if you notice, if I add something, it will be here, and if I remove them, it is gone. The reason is because this whole wait, I have something else as well. I've been trying this new screen recorder, so I will use this. I will add a yellow color. Okay, so let us see. So when I add here, just pay attention to the small yellow button. So it's added now. If I remove, it is removed. So because it's a dependency property, I did that because I just wanted to show how my new annotation control works. So where were we? Yeah, okay, we don't need this to maximize and minimize button. That is removed. It should be pretty straightforward. Close it and run again. Okay, there we go. So now we have our nice screen, and we have only this. But if I look close, the end, there is some kind of a border. So my application should not have a border. So margin is equal to 0. If I save, is it updated? No, it's not updated. Maybe this is the small. Oops, where are you? Okay. Anyhow, let us focus upon those things at a later stage. And I want to change this color. I don't need, when I hover my mouse, I don't need this red color. But we don't need to spend time on this, but I will just keep it as icon hover color, right? So Haley WPF icon, it's not icon, icon dot hover color. Hover color is crimson. Let's try again. Okay, the crimson looks fine. Okay, that's okay for me. Okay, now that we have two things, first and foremost step, I'm going to split my screen into two. The right hand side, I'm going to put some kind of a nice image or maybe some kind of a text that we can add. So let's get down to business. Grid dot column definitions, column definition. So equal columns, and in the right side column, I will put. Let me go to Google again. Forest images, something, or maybe this one itself is nice. This abstract image. So image grid dot column is equal to 1, and now when we are handling images, there are several ways how you can add images. You can add them into your resource dictionary, and you can directly call them, but I'm not going to do all those, so I just leave it to you. I will do straight away simple. I will call the source here. Polygon shapes, twisted light background, polygon shapes. Polygon shapes is here, but I don't need this in direction. I will rotate it. So remove it, transform, rotate 90 degree. Even the rotation doesn't make sense, you know. Okay, so image appearance, or maybe transform layout, not in layout, appearance, not in appearance, common is in common, stretch direction uniform to fill. So then in that case I could not have this render. Okay, I have filled it now, and I will add a opacity here. What is my opacity? Whoa, 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 whoa. Opacity is, let's say, 50%. Let's try to see how it looks. Yeah, there is one more problem here. This one should be covering the whole screen, and not only my, now I have a problem. I see some kind of border here. I see this header here. I don't need all those things. How do I resolve it? So let's go here. Hide header, true. Hide footer, true. I don't need my header. I don't need my footer. But the nice thing about this Haley plain window is that even though you hide your header, oh my goodness, it still shows up. I will come back to that. But currently, let's not focus about the title bar here. I will come back to that one later. But now we know that the footer is gone, and wait. Let's fix the size at this one. Okay. I will go back to this thing at later stage. So let's keep our small this image is here, right? This one, let us put it inside a grid. Grid dot column images, and okay, let's keep it in the left hand side. Okay, let's keep it in the left hand side. Okay, so after this I will add one more border with this corner radius is equal to 40, and with this equal to 200, and height is equal to 350, and let me split it like this, or like I will apply my template, apply dual only dual controls. I don't need dual. I have this and split it. Okay, here, so this is my border. I could see my border here, and I will delete this, put it here, border. And my border, I will add a background is purple as usual, and zoom in, and my purple should not be purple, and the height is 350 is fine, but with this I need up to at least 400, and see whether that's not 4000, that's 400. I don't need 400, I need maybe 300. Okay, and I will go up, and here I need to do something. Height and width are fixed, so it should not be movable. So resize mode is equal to no resize, so you should not be able to resize your application. The hide header should actually hide it. Why is it even showing up? Let's make some. Okay, so the width I don't need 40, that's too much. 30, that looks better. And background should not be purple. This time I will activate my properties here, and instead of purple I will keep it white, or maybe black will make sense. Black, and after I make it black I will make it 40% transparency, or 50% transparency. And if this transparency, let us remove the image. Let the image be at least 80%, so it will be much brighter. Or like let's keep it 100 image. Let's not play there. So we have a nice thing here. Let's make it 60. Okay, we have something. We have something. And inside this one, let us quickly add image. Image. Wait. Where should my image be present? Okay, let's add an image first. Then we will discuss. Source is equal to static resource avatar. I don't need this image. I need our plain image. Why do we need a plain image? Because in the plain image I can change the color. So icon.default is equal to static resource avatar. Height is equal to 35. Width is equal to 35. And horizontal alignment is equal to center. Vertical alignment is top. If I see here, there should be an avatar. Margin is equal to minus 0. Horizontal I don't need, but in the top I need minus 20. Or maybe minus 10. Let's keep it minus 20 and make it as 40. So I know that it is in my center. And what else? This one color. It should be probably white because we already have a black, right? So icon.default color is white, and I need one more thing, which is hover should be disabled. Hover is enabled is false. The reason when I move my mouse over it, it should not change color. That's the reason why I'm enabling hover. Shall we try now? Okay, what is the error? Property default is set multiple times. Did I? Default color. Let's see. Okay, so we have a nice okay, I cannot call it nice, but we have something here, and it also has this icon that we put there. That's fine. Let me close the application, come back here. Now without further ado, we will start adding where is my plain image which is present inside this border. Inside the border I have a plain image, and then I will now add. Actually I should have put this inside a grid because I need to add other controls as well. So okay, now inside the grid I will start creating a stack panel. So this stack panel we will add a text block. How do I do it? We'll add items control. Items control dot items panel is going to be a grid. Items panel template is going to be a grid. The grid dot column definitions and column let me hide this for now. Here let me hide this XAML and let us only focus on here. Column definition and column definition. So with this maybe 60 where we will have the names. That's fine. I have my items control which is 1, and I have a panel. That is fine. Then I will go down here and I will add text block. Text is equal to user name, like email ID, We don't need email ID. It's not email ID anymore. It's username. Text, plain text box. Text is watermark is equal to email ID or username. And grid.column is equal to 1. You might wonder where is this grid coming from, even though we don't have any grid inside. But this is inside the items control. Inside the items control items panel, I have a template which is containing this grid. So this grid is like, items control is kind of like, it can take any shape. You can put a stack panel, and then it will, the items that you add will be added inside a stack panel. You put a grid, items will be added inside a grid. Why am I doing this? You will know shortly. First, let us now activate our screen to split the screen and see. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's very late and I'm tired already. It's February 1. Text blocks is here, and I need a foreground is white. Not wheat, it's white. White, and the width should be maybe 80, and horizontal alignment, let it be left. Okay, let it be left. Vertical alignment is center. And this all makes sense. And the stack panel itself should have a margin of 20, so that it goes down, and it should not be in the top. I want my stack panel should be in the middle. So let's put it in the vertical alignment is center. Does that make sense? That's okay. Username, you will enter email ID or username, and this items template, I don't need to add this again and again. That is the reason why I chose items control. Go to my resources, in the resource dictionary, create a style. Let's say key as items control custom. Target type is X type items control, and setter property items panel, and setter dot value is items panel template, and we have items control. Go down and remove this everything, and now when you remove this, immediately it becomes as a stack panel, because in items control, if you do not specify anything, obviously it is going to be a stack panel. But now we have a style which says that no, this is not an stack panel. The items control is taking the shape of a grid. That's what we say, and that's the reason why we have this here. So it is now easy for us. Take this item control, replicate it again. Before that, items control, this one should have a margin. Let us put a margin in the setter itself. Setter property margin value is equal to 5, 2. So 5 in the left and 2 in the top. So if I put it here, I have one more thing, and this time I will call it as password, and instead of plain text box, I will put plain password box, and I will say enter password. And you can still have this lot of properties. I forget them. It's been a year since these were created. Like you have why is it low? Okay, you have the password character. Like you can specify which character that you want, and you have the image color. You can have enable password viewing. I believe when you enable this, enable password viewing is true, it will add some kind of let me show directly. Okay, here we go. So this so you can add this, and you press this one, like this one, when you press, it will be shown. When you remove, it will be gone. Username, you will add like hello@gmail.com, And see, I'm not going to explain about the validation of the emails and everything. That should be your responsibility. But still, you can still add a lot of attached behaviors, attached properties, or even validations to ensure that this property is properly used. Like if the property fails, you just throw the messages in the top or bottom. But I'm not going to do that here anymore. I will just move ahead with where is my items control? Where is my items control? Here in the items control. I'll make it as 5 comma 8. So there is much space between them. And the font size also, I don't like this font size. Setup property font size value is equal to, let's keep it as 14. Oh, that is too big. Let's keep it as okay. I will do one thing. I will put the font size only for the blocks. So this time I'm going to add a style, but without a key. When I say without a key, what happens is it gets applied to all the elements in this particular the resources is in the plain window, so all the plain windows. So setup property foreground value is equal to white setup property font size value is equal to 14. So that's only this one gets 14, so maybe make it as 13. Style, this one I don't like the 8. Let's make it 10 and make it a bigger. Okay, the test block as well, I need some kind of a height, but that's fine at present. And let me go down. So since we already have designed this vertical alignment is center, I will do that as well. Okay, so go back to my style, setup property vertical alignment value is equal to center. That's totally fine. So now we have username, we have password, and obviously we need a very straightforward and simple stack panel. So we have add a plain button, or let's say two small checkboxes, plain checkbox, and which is it horizontal alignment is left. Let me zoom in here, and background is equal to purple. I don't need purple, I always use purple. Let's make it yellow this time. Yellow, and the content is remember me, and the foreground I don't need that color. Foreground is equal to white. Font size is equal to 10, and I don't know how to change the I always forget this, so I will directly go into my text and press this italics. How is it done? Font style is italic. Okay, so I have this one. I also need some kind of a border, so I'll put here. I will do something. I will take one more grid and say margin is equal to 5, 10, and I will put this inside my margin. And I will do one more thing. The reason why I did this is I need one more hyperlink on the right side, not on the left side, on the right side. So horizontal alignment is right. And now we have something here, and I will call the content as for need help. Need help. Need help. This is not content. This is text. Need help. The need help. We need the foreground to be. Now I will do one thing. I will directly add wheat this time. It's really wheat. Font size is probably 11, and which didn't make any difference. Font family is. Let's see what are the font families we have before we add them. Linked text properties. Text font family. I will use Roboto, which didn't make any difference at all. So Montserrat will make sense. Montserrat. Okay, Montserrat need help. So when someone presses this, we open up the helper window. That's fine. So now the next step would be to add a button which will be login or sign up. So need help means this is for your password help, and sign up will be straightforward. So sign up as well. I will add in a grid, and I will put a margin of we always have 5, right? So 5 comma 10. I don't see why I need to, okay, yeah, forget about it. Plain button. This button will have a corner radius of 5, and this will have a content which says sign in, and this will also be having a width of 90, and we need to have some kind of a common color everywhere. So let us add a crimson. So what I usually do is whatever color I apply for my controls, like hover colors or somewhere, that color I use it. But I'm not a good designer, so you can decide your own implementation. So this one background is going to be crimson. Wow, that's very worse. Maybe let us this time use the properties. I don't know how to make a match for this color. I think does this go well with this? I think I will stick with this yellow. Even though it doesn't look nice, I will stick with this yellow. Foreground is white. Does white go well with yellow? No. So it has to be gray. And font style is bold or expanded. Okay, let's remove this here. And I will add one more button. This one, instead of this grid, we will make it a stack panel and make its orientation is equal to horizontal, and the whole horizontal will be alignment will be on the right side. And before this plain button, I will add one more plain button, and this one will have a margin of 5 comma 0. I'm sorry, yeah. So there is no vertical margin, and I don't need a color here. This one I will say the background is going to be a little bit gray, so that this is for sign up. Foreground is going to be white, maybe black, and I will call it as sign up. So sign in. This gray as well doesn't make sense, so let's make it black. Sign in, sign up. I know this is not the best design that you would have encountered, but I think you can get an idea. So that looks fine. Username is there, password is there. Remember my tick color should be come on. So the tick color, where is this checkbox coming from? Here. Tick color should be black to go with my yellow. So now my tick color is black. That makes sense. And need help, when I click this, I should be opening up the other window, and this is fine, this is fine, sign in is fine, sign up is fine, everything is fine. And the right hand side I can put some message. So I will at present I will just add a small simple message. Okay, I'm already running late of time. It's been a long time, so what I will do, I will try to wrap it up fast. the grid column, this one, the grid is in the first one. So in the second one here, I will add some small text. I will just leave it up to your imagination. You can do whatever you want. You can add an image, you can say some message. So I will just say message here, grid dot column is equal to 1, and I will say text. It's already a text box. Why do I need a content? Font size is equal to maybe 25, and foreground is equal to white, and text is equal to welcome to our organization. Hope you have a good day. I really don't care if you have a good day. Text wrapping is wrap it up, and alignment, horizontal alignment is center, and text alignment is also center. Text alignment, I don't need this. Text alignment is also center. If I zoom in, I have something here, and the foreground, let's not excuse me, I will keep it as some golden color. Let's try. Hello, welcome to our organization. Hope you have a good day, which is true. And the close button is here, this icon is here, everything is here. That's fine. First and foremost thing, this is totally fine. So the next step, we need to extract our items. So far it might have looked pretty straightforward, right? Now pay close attention whatever I have done here. Like, first let me take this out and go to my solution explorer, keep my solution explorer open, and remove this view. I don't need to see it at present. Take it to my controls login page, and here I will first add my references. And when you say references, you also need your resources. So user content, okay, user control resources, resource dictionary, resource dictionary dot merge dictionaries. Go back to my authentication window. Resource dictionary, merge dictionaries, this one and this one and this one. Let me copy them, but should I copy them from here? You know what, this style control, I don't need to put it here. I will take it to my control, and I'll keep it here, true. And this text block, yes, this is, this is without a key, so it's not a good practice. So I'll take it up to my sign up page, and I will put login page, and I will put it outside my merge dictionaries, and I will take up my resources for LRSD and put it inside my this one. And finally, authentication window, open up my grid, image border. I should not change my image, that is for sure. I'm 100% sure. I only need to take it out. Take this out, put this inside my here, and now let us split it. Okay, now we have extracted this out, and most important thing is it should not have your, yeah, there is no height and width specified, so this will take the height and width of your application. But anyhow, you have already specified the height and width here. You should not have done that. Sorry, we should not have done that. But first, let us focus. Okay. So if I remove this width and height from here, it will take the whole shape. That's what I need, and that's true. It should, automatically match up to my size here. So my grid, whichever I have here and the image inside, I will put one more grid, and this grid I will say now this should be like this, and this one should be in the center as well. It's already in the center. And now instead of doing all these things, I will add one more thing, which I will say this is internal, right? So XML namespace controls is equal to controls. This is login control.controls. I am saying that whatever control that I have placed in my login page, bring it here. So now it brought it here. So what we have done is we have taken the whole build and we have put it inside. Wait, there is one more problem. What happens to our image that was outside? It still comes. Okay, fine. Now there are a couple of things that we need to do. We will do it fast. First thing, whatever we have done in our login page, remove this one. Where is my XAML? Okay, whatever I have done here, I will copy it up and I will paste it in my sign up and a login helper page. Login page, and from the user controls till the border, I will take it, paste it in my sign up page. Okay, now here I will split it again and I will change it, move it. While working, I don't want to see this width. I will just say just show me only 400. Zoom in. This is a sign up page, right? So let's add some pretty good info. This should not be here. When you're signing up, I don't need to see that here. And stack panel is here, so I will add one more text block. Text. Hooray! We are happy that you decided to open an account with us. And seriously, decline this up and wrap and foreground is equal to width. No, yes, I mean width. And font size is equal to maybe 30 or like 15, 18. Opacity is equal to 60, and text alignment is equal to center. Text alignment is equal to center, and margin is equal to 20. So that looks nice. Hooray! We're happy that you decided to open an account with us. Or like we are happy to have you on board. We're happy to have you on board. Hooray! Anyhow, do whatever you want there, and text block username is there, password is there, and then you take the item control again and put re-enter password. Okay, so let's go to the solution RD, and this width 80 is not sufficient enough, make it 90. Sign up page, re-enter password. Okay, re-enter password, re-enter, let's keep it as pass, that's it, and re-enter password. And we don't have remember me here, obviously, and you will be asking an user for his email ID. You will not be asking an user for his username, email ID, and you will also be asking for a username. It's totally up to you whether the user wants to have a username or something. I don't know your requirement, but you can do that. Usually. Password, re-enter password, sign up. Obviously, it is not sign in, it is only sign up. So we will not have this button here, but instead we will say create account. And let's make this width as 120. Create account. I made a mistake again. I need that. 120. And here I will say create account. And here I will say go back. Very, very, very important. Cancel. So you create an account, you cancel, and you do that. That's fine. This is fine. And go back, do the same for your login helper page, and copy this from here. Go to my login helper page, where I will add it's okay 1230 login sign up page, user controls along with this one. So user controls along with this, take it to my login helper page, paste it here, split the view. Let's just start building. I don't need to see this much during my building stage. 400 is fine. Don't worry, we got you covered. Don't worry, we got you covered. Trust me, we never got you covered. Email ID and text block. Text is equal to or horizontal alignment is center. Either enter your email ID or username. So when you do that, what I will do, I will send an OTP to your email ID, which you will enter OTP, and you will remove these controls, and here you will validate. And OTP should not be password box. OTP should be text box, plain text box. You enter an OTP. It's like, after you enter the OTP, you should enable something. So it's basically what we are doing here is we enter the ID, and then you need to take this and take it here, and after the plain text box you put it here. Plain text box, you request OTP or send OTP, and basically what we do is we will like enter our email name or user, and we will send OTP. So this should go to your web API, and it should send you an OTP to your email ID or something. While you are doing that, maybe you can wait here, like you can put a waiting stage or something. After you receive the OTP, like after you raise the send OTP, you will be enabling it here. So now this is just a small concept. It could be different. After this, I will add a separator, and not the normal separator. I will add a Haley separator. Why? Because I created it. Not only that, this one contains a size orientation, and so I can directly set size. Size is equal to 5. So only because of this property, it is an extension of a separator, and background is equal to white, or maybe width, and size let it be just 2. Okay, and here I will add a margin of 0, 20, so up and down 25. So it's like this. So you enter your email ID, username, send OTP, and after you receive OTP, you will enter the OTP and validate. After this validation is done, you will be entering username, password. Let us don't add this one, so that makes us bloated. So just keep it simple. Enter your email ID, send OTP, and after you receive OTP, validate it. And after the OTP is validated, finally, after the OTP is validated, okay, take this cancel and remove this validated, and after the OTP is validated, you enter the password. That's okay. This separator, where am I will say like only 15 here, and separator only 15 here, or maybe 10, 10, or I don't even I can make it much simpler, I can just take this items control, put it here, and send OTP, and I will just remove this separator, and I will say this validate OTP also I will take it and I will keep it here, and I will put a margin of 10, 0, and I will just remove this one. That makes much sense. So it's like I enter my email ID, I will wait for the OTP, I will enter the OTP, and I will say here validate OTP, and after the OTP is validated, I will then should I be validating the OTP? Okay, well, whatever it is, like if we enter the OTP, we validate the OTP, and after the OTP is validated, we change this password. We enter password, and here password, enter new password, re-enter password, re-enter password, and change password. That's totally fine so far. And this one, this whole stack panel second part, this one and text blocks, items control, everything should fall inside a grid. Why? Because I should have the control to disable it. It should not be inside a grid, it should be inside a stack panel. How to disable it is enabled is equal to false. So it should be like this, like on first instance, it should all be disabled. The user should not be able to enter it. When you validate your OTP and everything is fine, you should enable it and change password. When you are changing the password, you will also send your OTP value along with this one. So what happens is your API will be receiving the OTP, and then you will also be sending your change password, a new password and everything, and it should validate it. Usually, we can also do it by sending an email to your email and get it, but this is also another way. So, okay, so far it's fine. Let's not waste any more time. So we now have login helper page, login page, and a sign up page. We have three items. First and foremost thing is we need to have some kind of add user control in the view model. Authentication ViewModel. So public authentication ViewModel. Size. Public authentication ViewModel. Okay, that's fine. Let us go back and keep it open. First thing first, you need some kind of an registration, right? So here I will add a new method class called entry class. Entry. Why am I adding entry? Because I need people to call from outside and initialize it. So public static void initialize, and I will be expecting some kind of service provider. So send me a service provider for initializing, and I will add Haley ad network. So what I'm going to do, it's okay. So far, I was explaining everything in detail, but now I'm going to assume that you have better idea about dependency injection and IOC. If not, just take a look into service providers and dependency injection. So it will be a kind of a container where you register your controls and get them during runtime. Not only controls, you can register anything you want. So if service provider is control container. What is control container? Control container is something that is coming from Haley. So currently only handling Haley. Well, directly you have something service provider dot register. So your service provider dot, you will be using something called get service. So this one will get the service when you have you have registered something. So control container dot register. What I will register, I need a view model, right? Where is my view model? Authentication view model, and it is expecting something called Haley network Haley view model, and it also needs base view model. This will contain all the notify property changed, and Haley view model, and this will, that's it. It's not having any kind of dependencies. It has two abstractions. Where is my abstractions? Okay, those abstractions are handled in base view. Okay, that's totally fine. I don't need to do anything. So base view model is here, authentication view model. So my authentication view model, so this is my view model for my authentication window. So for my authentication window, this is my view model, and I'm going to register it as, don't use VM as the key, and I don't need this. I don't need a single. I of course register it as a singleton. Before doing anything, um, instead of service provider, I will say IDI I will add a Haley.ioc, using Haley.ioc, and then I will say IDI. Haley.abstractions is already there, right? Okay. Let me go to my references and see. This one is there. So IOC is already there. Okay, it's base container, not control container. I'm sorry. I'm already sleepy, so I couldn't. If service provider is Haley, like base container, then base container dot base container dot register. So here I'm going to register directly the view model. authentication view model. First, let me register that view model as a singleton. So register mode is singleton. So whoever wants to resolve this, they will get authentication view model, which is a singleton. And then I'm going to say the register, not through base container. This time I'm going to say base container dot controls. Okay, I'm extremely sorry for this. I will also add one more public static void initialize. This time I will give it's expired. IContainerFactory container factory. So what is a container factory? So service provider is something which is coming from Microsoft MS Lib. So which you will be using to get your services. So you register your dependency injections, and the service provider will be directly helping you to get the service. So which means that in this context it doesn't make sense. You are not getting it, you are using it for registering. So I have some implementation called container factory, which is coming from Haley abstractions. So I will just start with the container factory dot di. Where is this? Controls is there, and Windows is there, and there will be something called get di. This one, I'll just copy or cut it here. We don't need to waste it, and I will remove this initialization. Okay, if container factory dot services is base container vs, then you use that one to register. First, let us say register my okay. First, register my authentication window, and after these are all like base registrations, and after that UI registrations. So container factory dot controls dot register. I need to register authentication window view model with my controls. First control is login page, sign up page, login control. Okay, login page. We need this reference using login control dot controls. Okay, login page will come back container factory dot controls dot register authentication view model login helper page will come back container factory dot controls dot register authentication view model sign up page. You see, there are different ways to navigate or change them, but I'm trying to make a MVVM approach where I will reuse my view model. What is the error? INotify property is defined in an assembly that is not referenced. That is a very weird one. Let's see. Let's rebuild it to see if there are any further errors. Okay, there's no error at all, but still my control wants to say there is an error. Anyhow, first let me focus on this input view model, use VM as key. I don't want to give a view model because I know for a fact that view model is already a Singleton, it's already registered, so which means that the same view model will be supplied to all the three items, that I know for sure. And the second thing is I don't want to use a key with the view model as the key, and I don't need the view as the key. So Singleton. So if we do not specify any kind of keys, what happens is it will take the type name. So but for safer side, I will add a key. I will add a key with enum. So I will go to my class and create a new enum and call it as view enums, and public enum view enums sign up page. It's not sync page, single page, sign up page, login page, helper page. Okay, so we have something called something is there, and this one I will say view enums dot login page. Okay, this one view enums dot helper page. Okay, this one view enums dot sign up page. First I will try to run this to see we are not making any error. So entry dot initialize. Okay, wherever you are using it, before even you call anything on application startup, just entry dot initialize with container factory. You need a container factory, and your container store itself is a container factory. Singleton, go into Singleton and see container store. It's did I miss any reference? Container store, provider, controls, Windows, DI. So I updated the version to 6.1.0. So I just realized that the old version was not giving container factory. It's not returned. So let's go to our. So I added the small value. So now here from singleton dot get factory, you have the method for getting the factory, which will return the factory. So you will initialize it here, which will then call the container factory, which will register the authentication and will also register their views according to this login pages and everything. This is fairly straightforward. We didn't do anything. We just also, like, there is a way to create your own container. You don't have to even rely upon the container store. Container store is a singleton class which already has an implementation. There's something called di container. Those things you are not able to directly get them, but if you add haley.ioc, then you will be seeing di container. The different types of containers are there, but if you want to select or do something of your own, if you go into this container factory, this is nothing but an implementation which is expecting you to provide some sort of a service provider. It is also expecting you to provide some sort of a controls and windows. What happens is you register all your authentication. In our case, we register the authentication window, which will be retrieved via the service provider. When we say that it is a factory, which means the controls which need some kind of dependency injection will look into the services, and windows, they will look into the services. So basically, it's a normal abstract factory pattern. Like, all the interfaces inside will look into their own service providers here itself. So you will not be looking outside. That's the whole concept behind this container factory. So here we are using the inside the same factory, you are registering the authentication view model inside services. So when you try to register a login page authentication inside the controls, it will then try to receive the authentication whichever you have registered here. I know I am confusing you much, but let's keep it simple and leave it here. And we are already registering everything, so we know for a fact that these views and windows are registered. Leave it as it is. Go back to your authentication view model. Let us start adding couple of properties here. First property I will add is Haley set property, which is my view enums, and say current view. Seriously, current view, current view. Okay, my current view is going to be, current view is ViewModel start login page. Should it be login page? Let us do one more thing. Let's add something called welcome page. My current view is welcome page. No, login page. And let me go back to view windows, and I don't even need a welcome page. Let me remove the welcome page. I will add one small view here, one more view, and this one I will call it as welcome view. And go here. I will keep this fairly straightforward. Remove everything. Yeah, remove everything. Remove everything. And then here, let us even remove the borders, or like let us have the border, but let us say text block, text is equal to welcome back. This is my lay. I'm just keeping it here. Width, font size is equal to 28. Setter property horizontal alignment is equal to center. So let's move this. Okay, welcome back is here. So this is going to make simple welcome view. I'm not going to make anything there. I don't even need a border there. I'll just keep it straight away like this. Okay. That's fine. What do we have here? Now we have an authentication like this. Okay, now we have one authentication window, plain window, where you have the close button, and you also have these images in the left column, and you have the controls login. So usually whatever we have done until now, that's usually that we will do, not only for the setup that we are going to see now. The only difference is we are now using something called initialization using the dependency injection. That is the only minor difference. But other than that, whatever we did, we always do that. And here we will do some sort of um, trigger. So we will check the property inside our control, and then we will do a trigger, and based upon the trigger we will display the page. So it could be a login page, or it could be a sign up page, based upon that. But now what I'm going to do, instead of using the triggers, I'm directly going to call something called as container viewer. So what is this container viewer? This is something, a new control which we have added in Haley WPF. What it does is, if you have some sort of container factory, or if you have some sort of containers where you have already registered your views with some kind of a key, it could be an enum, it could be a string, it could be anything. If you have done that with some kind of a key, and all you need to do is, here you have key, view key. So you bind that view key here, and then the container viewer will then go into your dependency, the conjunction, which is basically your container, whatever you have developed. You can even have your own implementation, and from there it will retrieve it back. Now there are two more options here. You have ignore global container, ignore local container, which means if you have your own implementation, you can then specify the local container, which is nothing but I control container. I control container. You need to specify your I control container. If you do not specify any container, obviously it will go into container store, which is the global container. So here container store or something. So at present I believe if you know what dependency injection and how it works, you will obviously be setting up your own containers. But if you don't, I will suggest you just go with the default container. And so let's say the view key, the key will be, it's an enum, right? So it's coming from XAML namespace. It's already in our local. So where is my local is here. So it's coming from static resource. Now view key is binded to my view model. Authentication current view binding to my view model. Binding to my view model. Current view notify and source update is equal to update sources property. Okay, view key, and I am not going to set any kind of local container or anything. I'm just saying that this is my key. Based upon my key, you do whatever you want and show me this. I will adjust my height and width here. So container, I will give the height and width, and I will remove everything. So now this container viewer should, based upon the value, should look into my container because I have already registered it, and it should return me everything. Now how does the container know that? First and foremost, on application startup, we already have set it as a login page, so which means that the first view will always be going to be login view. The remaining views we can still see, and we also have something called a welcome view, right? So go back here and containers viewer, I will say before even you show anything, show me dot welcome view. A welcome view is welcome view, not this one. A welcome view is welcome view inside controls. CTRLs welcome view. CTRLs. Why am I not seeing my welcome view there? Welcome view is already there. It is present in controls. Did I copy it? I did copy everything. So welcome view. How did I make this mistake? Welcome view. If I change here, then I also need to change in my class. So go here, go back to my welcome view, and this is welcome view. Sign up. That's one of the reason why you should never copy your XAML, like you will end up with so many errors. So controls welcome view. Okay, let us just straight away run this and see if we have any kind of errors. If we don't, then we are good to go. It should start with welcome back, which is my view, and after 3 seconds it says empty, please set a proper key. So the key is empty. Okay, there is some error, that's totally fine. Did we register? We are initializing where you are already registering your login page, login key with login page, helper page, sign up page, whatever. Then you close this and go to your view model. The authentication view model, you have something called current view, and let us not have it as enums. Let us have it as an object, because the key is not expecting an enum. It could be an object. So the view enum is object. Why? Go into this authentication window, this container view key, press F5 and see this is an object. We are using the enum as an object, but that's okay. And this plain window itself, or let's say authentication window itself, we have not specified any kind of dependency injection yet. Why? Because if you go into this XAML, you see here you are directly calling your authentication window. That is totally wrong. When you directly call your authentication window, you are not specifying what is the view model that needs to be used. For us, the view model should be a common singleton static view model. So there are a couple of ways how we can do this. So let us initializing. In the initializing, let us also register this. Now UA registrations, I will register window registrations. Container factory dot windows dot register authentication view model with authentication window, and shall I use some kind of key? View model is null. Use view model as key. Let's say let it be view model as key, and let's keep it as it is. Close. Go back to my here. An auth window is each time when I do this, I'm going to say my container store, please give me resolve container store singleton windows show dialog. I know that view type is here, view model type is here. So what I'm saying is authentication window. Close. What I'm saying is I know that using the container store, which is basically container store is my container factory. So using this factory, I have already registered. If I go into this initialize, I know that I have already registered the window against my view model. Even though this view model itself is registered, and even though this view model itself is already having different what do you say, this is registered against different views. I am registering it against a window. Now you see this, when you do not give any kind of key, then obviously the view model will be taken as a key. If you try to use the same key twice, it will obviously throw an error and exception. But at present I'm not using the same key twice. I'm using only one single key against one window, so it should not throw me an error. So that's fairly straightforward. And I'm saying that here, show the dialog for authentication window. If I give some kind of a key, then that specific key will be used, but I'm not giving any kind of key. I just say like authentication window, just show this, and I don't need this anymore. Each time I give show dialog, each time it will open up a new window. Let's try now. This time it should register resolve, and it should show up unable to authenticate. Application will close now. Perfect. Let's see why it fails. We got the instance, and we got show dialog, and the key is, I will just use a key directly. I'll say auth main window, just to make sure that we don't have any kind of key errors. Let's say that. And show dialog, I will say show me for this key, whatever window that is registered, show me that. Okay, we are initializing, we are registering, put some checkpoints there to do some tests. Okay, so mapping is there, auth main window, and the key is auth main window, and we are receiving it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we have this here, and we know for a fact that this is fine. Let me close this again. This time let us run this without any breakpoints. Breakpoint removed, breakpoint removed, breakpoint removed. We are directly seeing this window. We should not see that. We should see our where is my where am I authentication window, right? Go to my authentication window. Since this container viewer is already generated or initialized from my dependency injection, it was closing up quickly. So welcome view auto close time span, welcome view, let's say 15, sorry, 8 seconds. So let's see. So when it is opening up, okay, I'm not going to contemplate on that anymore. I will come back, and after 8 seconds it is going to show it. Let me remove this 8 seconds and see what happens now. For some reason on startup, my if I close this 1, 2, 3, and my view is changing, but obviously on startup it is not working. But anyhow, that's totally fine. I know one thing for sure, like it can now move from welcome page to main page. That is totally fine. I couldn't find the reason why my welcome page is not showing up at first, but that is totally fine at present. The next thing is what I want. After I start up, I need to switch or move from view to view, right? So I need to add some kind of method. I will call this method as prop ICommand. ICommand is present in system.windows.input. ICommand, and let's say command, what should we call it as? Change view. And this should be a new delegate command. Which should take in an object and then process it. Change view. Okay, so when you receive some kind of an object, set that into your current view. I think I don't even need something like this. I say let's use delegate link like this. Current view is equal to wo. That is fairly straightforward. Okay, so this is what we have. We say, like, whenever someone calls a change view with the current view, we change the view directly. So current command change view, take it to my sign up page. Since I know that sign up page and every page is now going to use authentication view model, now that we have already also ensured that authentication view model is singleton, which means we are registering it as singleton. So same view, same property is used across all the models. So now that we know that for sure, plain window command is equal to binding this one, command change view. Not only here, I will do that here as well. The core thing remains in the parameter. Command parameter is equal to binding source is equal to static view enums. Locals, right? It's equal to enums. Not here. Login control. Enums is present in login control. So source is equal to where here. Enums, view enums dot. When you cancel, go to login page. That is okay. And here, after you create account, basically when you press this create account, you should go to some kind of method. So in the authentication window, you will add all the methods. So let's say prop ICommand command create account, new delegate command create account. When you press that, you come here, you create an account, do whatever you want. Create an account by taking the values and then sending it across. And after you create the account, what do? You now there is one more thing. Okay, that I'm not going to go there. After you create the account, change view. So this one, how do you change this current view, right? Where do you want to go? Current view is equal to ViewEnums.login page. That's fine. Current view is equal to ViewEnums.login page. After you successfully created the account, so this one plain button is not a change view. Plain button is going to be an authentication. I have so many. Let me close everything. Close all but this. Go here. Sign up page. Authentication view model. Command change account. Sign up page. So here you create account. So take it up. Save this. Close. Go to sign up page, right, and then login page. So when you successfully plain checkbox, which is for remember me, so that is your responsibility, and sign up. When you say sign up, why did I not copy the command? So in the command view, say that when you say sign up, go to sign up. Enums is not here. Sign up page. So when I press that, go to sign up page, but when I say sign in, you do command is equal to binding sign in. So command sign in. I will go to my authentication window. I will add one more. Drop by command sign in. New delegate command sign in. Okay, here do whatever you want. Sign in, but finally, if it is successful, okay, send an event. You need to send an event which should then be captured by your what do you say, okay, instead of sending an event, we can do several things, but I will just stick to setting a property here. That will be much better. Property bool authenticated. So this one value should be set private, so external should not be able to set. So authenticated is equal to true. Okay, why am I doing this? Authenticated is true, and also close. Invoke VM closed. This new frame closing event tags, which because true messages authenticated. So what I'm doing here is that it's already present in base ViewModel, so I don't think we need this authenticated at all. What I'm saying is whenever the sign-in is successful, close this window and also send a frame closing event arguments, which will say, so this frame closing event argument, you are not going to subscribe there. This frame closing event argument will be subscribed by the window itself, because the window and view model are separate now. So it will subscribe, and based on that, it will close its window directly. So that is totally different. And you are also sending in the dialog result, which is true. So you can now get from your here, after you run this credential holders, you know that credential holder will have show dialog true or false. So if so let's say variable result is equal to if result dot has value and also result dot value, which means result is true, then break. You don't even go there. You don't directly break, you also need to set this property, right? So credential holder dot singleton and is authenticated is equal to true. We have authenticated successfully. Set this value and then break. Okay, so what I will do, when I press this login command at this present, whatever it is, we are going to send it true. So when someone presses sign in, we just send it, but that's okay. We have now finished our login page. Okay, and helper, where is my helper? This one, need help. When someone presses need help, you need to send him back to, take this totally, you need to send him where? Helper page. That's it, class. Let's try now. So now you have binded everything, it's kind of like a trigger. When you press sign up, you go to sign up page. When you cancel, you come to login page. When you press need help, you go here. But in the need help, you did not change anything. I think send ATP, this is fine. We also need to have some kind of a button here. Go to login page. That's what I will do now. Where am I? And helper page needs some more space, I believe. This is totally taking it up. So we forget that the design height is only 450, but actual height is 350. So this is totally wrong. So here let's adjust our size in separator. Let's put 8, and even here in the margins here we'll put 5, and also here in the margins let's put 5, and here stack panel let's put 5, and even the items control margin is equal to 5. I will put the same above as well. I don't want to change the global size, so let it be here, and I will add one more in the change password. I will add one more, not here, I will add it in this place. Linked text is equal to go to login page. Foreground is equal to white, and this one is now inside a grid, so it is disabled. I will put it outside. Go to login page, and command and command parameter I will copy from sign up page. Command parameter and command I will copy from here, logger helper, and go to login page, change view. Perfect. Why is it showing an error again? Come on. It doesn't have enums. Yes, true. We don't have an enum. I hope this is clear. What we are trying to do is we design the views, and then we are using the container store and ViewModel method to loop through there. And I will close it again and make this in the center of our organization party. Authentication window, and grid.column 2 text block. Vertical alignment is center. Okay, that's perfect. So there we go. We now have our application completely set up with the ViewModel and MVVM. So we have our organization, which is a little bit there, and you can now close it 4 times. Until you authenticate, you will not be able to see anything. But if you enter some username values and sign in, so here, see here, the password, obviously you have a couple of methods to store the password, which I will show now shortly. And the username and remember me, those things you can directly bind it to some properties in your view model. Create some properties and you can bind it. uh, when you press sign up, you go to this page. When you press cancel, you come to this page. You forget your password, go to help page, and you enter the email id, send otp, validate otp, and open it up. So these wirings you have to do. And you don't want to do there, go to login page, and sign in will take you here. And obviously after you do all the verifications, you will then close the command. So the close command will then take you back to your app.xaml, where if I put here, this will say like result is now true. So far it was false and authentication is true, and we break it, and we now go back and show the main window. So now this is how it worked. I will again do it now without any breakpoint. You can sign up, you can need help, go back, sign in, and so sign in should do everything, and it should open up your main application for you, and you are authenticated. And at any point you can easily re-authenticate by calling directly the same control. So all you need is every now and then you just check whether if you are going to use some kind of JSON web token, you just validate your web token in the backend, use a backend thread, or you set up a timer to check that JSON web token. And if your web token is valid, that's fine. If it is not valid, you just stop everything, freeze your controls, and you just throw this authentication here. Like you put this authentication here and nothing works out, user was not able to authenticate, you just close the application. That's totally up to you. Now, as I promised, I will go back to my authentication view model, and go back here to my login page, because the passwords is not straightforward. Like the text block is okay, like you have like text where you will be like binding to user name. And when you say username, go back to authentication view model and add a new method like Haley set property string username. So now when you add some value there, you will be able to see this here, like variable use name is equal to username. So this username, since you are binding it to your login page in this one, so when you enter it, it will directly be binded there. But the password is not like that. You cannot bind the password. When you go into my password box, I have the option for there should be something, yeah, password change. Whenever you change the password, you have a event, so that will raise this event, and you will be able to get the password from there. Or you can directly you send this plain password box which has the get password option. So I will use this. So it's totally up to you. You want to subscribe to the event and use the event, like for each letter you want to validate, you do that. Or else you want to get password, I will directly use it. So plain password box, close it, and on sign up I will specify name here. X name is pbox main, and I will go into my sign in. Where is my sign in? Sign in is here. And for sign in, I will say bind element name. I am saying like send my pbox main along with my command sign in. So which means that this is not command, this is command parameter, which means that my command sign in is expanding some kind of an object. So I need to do the same here in my authentication view model. Sign in is expecting some kind of an object, and object pbox. So if okay, so obj, if obj is password box, which is a Haley control, so using Haley.wpf.controls, if this is a password box pbox, go down and say pbox dot get password. So this should get my password, and you don't have to worry about your password leaking, because we are using Marshall methods to unwrap the password. Basically it's a secure password stored at all times. We are unwrapping each one and disposing immediately. anyhow, like when it comes to application, you need to take care of security, variable, password, and maybe you will be using something, like username and password. You will send to API, validate, verify, whatever you want to do. And if you are going to set up a remember password on application loading, then you just take some kind of cached values, because you will not be storing the password in your local. You should only save your encrypted cache or like hash values. You should know your application better. Let's try now. Finally, I will shortly close this and get some sleep. Let's say my name is username is come on, don't do this. RMS Mac, and password I will say hello world. I see password. Okay, sign in. I come here. I'm sending in a password box. My username is already bounded to RMS Mac, and password box, I'm getting the password, which should be hello world. So using this username and password, then I will send it to some place and validate it. And validations are true, I will authenticate it. Maybe I can do something, like, yeah, I'm expecting a password of if password is not password dot equals hello world with capitals. Okay, with capitals, not equal to hello world, then dialog service, we don't we don't have a dialog service here. So authentication view model, where is my authentication view model? I will say send me a dialog service ds. This is this is the beauty of dependency injection. You don't need to get the container again. Dialog service ds, you can directly get it from there. Since you are already using the dependency, you directly ask it in the constructor, and you are not calling it anywhere. It will automatically be served to you. ds is equal to dialog service, and here ds dot show info, or let's say send toast and say authentication error, and say password mismatch. And this is what icon notification icon is error. And is it auto close or hide icon? Auto close to 7 seconds, so it will display for 7 seconds. Okay, this is not the default Windows API toast, it is a custom toast. It is expecting a hello world password. Now let us try finally. So if I sign in, it says exceptions thrown because object reference not set to instance of an object. Okay, there is one more problem. If string dot is null or white space password, or else password is empty, because there is a possibility you can sign in. I think this video is going to be my longest video by far. Sign in, it's going to say like password mismatch. Why did I come here again? I need to break it. Should I break it, or yeah, I should break it. Or I should return it. I should not close the application, I should return it. Okay, finally, one more time. I try to sign in, password mismatch. Okay, I try to sign in, password mismatch. 2 3 4, I do whatever I want, password mismatch. So now let's say hello world, which is W is wrong, so password mismatch. But obviously you will not be sending some kind of password mismatch like this. Hello world, come. Hello world. Now password success, and I'm in done. So that's it. as I said, we are only focusing on the UI part. We are not focusing on the backend part. But I think I have given a little bit information about setting it up. You can now use your imagination and move ahead. And the source code, you can get it from the description. It is available in GitHub. And thank you so much for spending the time and watching this video.